Hey, my name is April, and I'm the Peaceful Wife. Today I want to talk about our motives in wanting to become godly wives. At first, it's easy to think, well, I want to become a godly wife so that my marriage will improve, so that my husband will love me more, so that I'll be happier. But those are really not the right motives in wanting to become a godly woman or a godly wife. The real purpose of all of this is to know God, to have His presence, to know Him more, and for us to have His Spirit. And as we seek to become godly women and godly wives, we have to be faced with the fact that we can't do this on our own. It is totally impossible in our own strength for us to become the women God wants us to be, or that our husbands need us to be. So I want us to be careful and to watch our motives, because if my goal is to change my husband, if my goal is just to have a happy marriage or to find happiness for myself or to have a better life for myself, I'm missing the entire point. If my goal is just to feel more loved by my husband, I am missing the entire point of everything that matters. The goal here is to know God. Jesus says in John 17:3 that eternal life is this, to know God, the one only true God, and to know Jesus whom He has sent. In Exodus 33, God gave Moses the option of going into the promised land with the people of Israel and experiencing the promises and the blessings of God without His presence. He told Moses, go ahead on into the promised land. You can have everything I promised to Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and to you, but I won't go with you. And sometimes that's what we want today. We want the blessings of God. We want that happy marriage, a better marriage. We want heaven. We want forgiveness. We want all this stuff. But we don't really want God. We'd be fine to go to heaven without God being there. We'd be fine to have a better marriage and not have God. And if that is our outlook, we are missing everything that matters. The whole point of all of this journey is to know God, to have His presence and His power, and to realize that we can't do this on our own and that we desperately need Him. But in our churches, in our Christian culture today, we don't depend on God very much. We don't get on our faces in prayer of desperation saying, God, we can't do this. God, we need you. We think we can do this in our own strength. We think our own strength is sufficient enough, and we don't really need God's power or His presence in our lives, and how that breaks my heart. I don't want God's blessings without God. I don't want to go into the promised land without God. What good are His blessings if we don't have Him? And how I long for us to hunger for the presence of God, the glory of God, the power of God, more than the things God can give us. He is not going to be a means to an end. If we are coming to Him and we are saying, God, I'll obey you, but then you owe me a great marriage, a godly husband, happiness, then we are missing the treasure that God really is. He is the greatest treasure. We are totally dependent on Him. And this journey to become a godly wife should put us on our faces. It should humble us, because none of us can be what God calls us to be on our own. We desperately need the power of God's Spirit, and we desperately need Him. And when we taste Him and how good He is, and we taste His presence and His power, He is all we are going to want. He is all we need. And so I would encourage you to read Exodus 33 this week and ask God to show you your heart and your motives, and ask God to help you desire him. Nothing else, just him. And tell him how desperate you are for him and how much you need his power and how you can't do this on your own and how you want him more than anything else. Thanks so much for watching, and I'm praying for God to richly bless your walk with Christ.